10 News begins with breaking news.
We start with breaking news out of Dallas, where there is an active shooter situation. I'm Virginia Chung.
I'm Jason Martinez. Kalina Strinos in the 10 News Live Center. What's going on, Kalina?
Well, this is at Northlake College in Irving, Texas, and you can see I pulled up some video here of the activity. There was an active shooter situation happening on campus, specifically in the C building, which is said to be the psychology building. But it looks like the latest information we have, 2 people are dead now. Looks like apparently in a potential murder-suicide. Now, this was a tweet that was put out by Irving police that said, again, it appears to have 1 victim deceased. The shooter has committed suicide. But initially, a tweet sent out by Northlake College warned everyone to go to the nearest room, stay on lockdown, and if you're not on campus already, to just stay away. Now, even though they do believe, again, I'll go back to that live picture for you, they do believe that it is a murder-suicide and that the suspect is down. They are still keeping the college on lockdown. They are still telling students to stay away from the campus, and this is an ongoing situation. Of course, an ongoing investigation as well will be headed into this Northlake College shooting here. But again, I'm going to continue to watch this for you, and I'll bring you any new additional details as we get them in.
All right, thank you, Kalina. You know, training for emergencies that could hurt, even kill a lot of people is crucial for first responders. And right now, there's a very realistic training situation going on in Kearney Mesa.
And 10 News reporter Mary McKenzie is live at the Stu Siegel Studios, where they're using movie techniques to make this very real. And Mary, where are these crews from?
They're from all over, Jason and Virginia, some from out of state, medical students as well as first responders, and their crews from right here. We've seen Escondido, Carlsbad, San Marcos. They're here on the set for a very realistic simulation. In this case, they recreated a party on a set. We were given safety goggles and earplugs. First, there was an explosion and then gunshots.
We use all the movie-making techniques to make live training extremely realistic.
Patients are carried from the scene by first responders into ambulances, then taken to a mock ER where medical students have to quickly assess and treat them.
They learn better, they retain better.
Well, okay, how would you do it? Why do we not have to use Rh negative on him?
Because he's not a female.
Very good, okay.
The blood may be fake, but the adrenaline is very real.
Some of the students that were working on them were shaking. Their hands were shaking. The reason for that is when you get adrenaline into the bloodstream, it goes down, it creates cortisol, and you lose your fine motor skills, you have auditory exclusion, you have tunnel vision, and you lose your ability to remember what you've learned.
They're put to the test here so they can be better equipped when faced with a real scenario.
I think they're doing quite well. I mean, you know, for these students, this is really their first exposure to this kind of serious clinical cases.
I'd much rather be in here for an entire year learning like this versus sitting at a desk looking at a computer.
Now, after this exercise, they also do a self-assessment, how they handle the pressure, and they even take saliva swabs from these medical students to see if it registers an elevated level of cortisol, that stress hormone that shows up when you're nervous. We're live in Kearney Mesa. Mary McKenzie, 10 News.
Thank you, Mary. You know, this training was scheduled before the shooting in University City over the weekend, so it is not related to that. Meanwhile, tonight there will be several vigils to honor the victims of Sunday's shooting. One will focus on Monique Clark. She's the mother of 3 who was killed. We will be bringing those to you starting at 4 during the Now San Diego, and we'll continue to cover them through the evening. Survivors of the shooting held a news conference last night. Now, one survivor said he doesn't want the shooter's financial struggles and failed relationships to make him seem like the victim. The partygoers say they welcomed Peter Sellis when he came to the pool, but that he turned his gun on them anyway.
Keon, who's my roommate, who offered this man a drink, there was no animosity, there was no type of negativity. This man didn't speak to us.
Police quickly ruled out race as a factor in the shooting, but the case is not closed. They are still investigating.
And on that note, the breaking news, the family of the shooter, Peter Sellis, released a statement today saying they feel unbearable pain over Sellis's senseless acts and they cannot explain them. They say words cannot express how much grief they feel for the victims, but they do extend their apologies. Right now, happening now, the San Diego City Council digging into the mayor's $3.6 billion proposed budget plan. And 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala just stepped outside the meeting going on right now and joins us live downtown with some of the concerns, Mimi, when it comes to local police.
Right, Jason. Now, this is the first of several days that the independent budget analyst will be going through the mayor's budget proposal and really breaking down every single part of it. Now, the top priority and area of focus for the budget committee today is the San Diego Police Department. Although the mayor's plan does focus on public safety, it also includes a $4 million cut from the San Diego Police Department's recruitment and retention programs, a major problem after a recent report revealed that there's a shortage of officers and a problem with staffing and keeping police in San Diego. The city says it continues to lose more officers than it trains each year. The independent budget analyst suggests that new resources or approaches may be required to help keep staffing levels up in the police department next fiscal year. The mayor's plan focused heavily on street repairs, homelessness, community services, and public safety, but Councilman David Alvarez says more of the focus has to be on police at a time where they say our city needs them the most.
The Police Officers Association is telling us we need to have more officers out on the streets communicating with the public. That's a $4 million reduction from last year. It's very, very large and could really have some impacts in the community.
Now, the mayor's plan does include cuts of up to $22 million to several different departments across the city. Now, these meetings will last for several days. They'll run through Tuesday, and then the mayor can make some revisions depending on what they find and what they want to change. And then the city council will adopt the new budget in June. We're live downtown. Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. It is a day to remember fallen heroes. Today, hundreds of local law enforcement officers will gather to honor local officers who were killed in the line of duty. The annual San Diego County Law Enforcement Memorial will honor fallen officer Jonathan de Guzman and other officers killed while serving their city. Officer de Guzman shot and killed last July. His partner, Wade Irwin, was also injured in the shootout but survived. He'll be speaking at today's memorial, which starts at noon. It'll be outside the county administration building on Pacific Highway at noon near this memorial plaque holding all the names of the fallen officers. The organizers invite you to attend today's service.
Happening today, the arraignment for a man accused of killing his girlfriend while she was holding their baby. Roderick Harris lived with Vanessa Bobo in Lake Murray. The DA says Harris stalked Bobo in their home. He's accused of shooting her in the back after an argument as she shielded their baby in her arms and her 5-year-old son watched. Harris faces life in prison if convicted.
New today, FBI Director James Comey testifying on Capitol Hill, opening up about the investigation into Hillary Clinton. This as Clinton is making headlines, pointing the finger at Comey for her election loss. ABC's Janae Norman is in Washington with more.
FBI Director James Comey speaking candidly about what he calls one of the most painful decisions he's ever had to make.
I stared at Speak and Conceal. Speak would be really bad. There's an election in 11 days. Lordy, that would be really bad. Concealing, in my view, would be catastrophic.
The director says his team discovered thousands of new Clinton emails and ultimately decided to tell Congress they'd be reopening the investigation, and says in hindsight he'd make the same decision.
Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election, but honestly, it wouldn't change the decision.
President Trump tweeted Tuesday that FBI Director Comey was the best thing that ever happened to Hillary Clinton and that he gave her a free pass for many bad deeds. Democrats pressed Comey on why the FBI was silent about the still ongoing investigation into the Trump campaign and Russian interferences while they were so vocal about Clinton. Comey says the investigations were treated the same.
Both investigations were open, but you still only commented on one.
With respect to the Russia investigation, we treated it like we did with the Clinton investigation. We didn't say a word about it until months into it, and then the only thing we've confirmed so far about this is the same thing with the Clinton investigation, that we are investigating. And I would expect we're not going to say another peep about it until we're done.
Director Comey testified the Russian government is still involved in American politics and will continue trying to interfere in elections in 2018 and 2020. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Now to this developing story. 3 U.S. service members have been hurt in an attack in Afghanistan. A suicide bomb struck a NATO convoy on a busy street in Kabul. ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack. At least 8 Afghan civilians are dead. Dozens injured. The 3 injured soldiers are expected to be okay.